Hey friends, today I'm going to show you how to make some homemade bread with just a few simple ingredients. So I have my Whisper Mill grain grinder here that we're going to be grinding wheat kernels. Today I'm going to be using hard white wheat grains. And I want to give you just a little quick nugget about the wheat kernels, how God is so smart and He places everything that we need for life in these little kernels. So you can store these wheat kernels for years and years and years. I mean 20 years plus, as long as you store them properly. But as soon as you break that little tiny wheat kernel, so show you how tiny it is, whoop, tiny little wheat kernel, then within 72 hours it loses all of its nutrients. That's why the wheat flour that you buy in the grocery store, they add things back to it. They bleach it and they add different types of nutrients back into that bread. But so today this is going to be everything we need. So what I have to do is turn the grinder on. It sounds like an airplane taking off. You wait till it gets to its top speed, you start dumping the kernels in, and then it has a little storage container here that catches all the flour. So let's do that. Let's get started. So now our grinder is finished, so we're going to take our flour off here. I'm going to show you that. So I have it right here. So our fresh milled flour that we're going to use to make bread today. Okay, so now we have our flour already ground, and now we're going to put it in. I have this Electrolux mixer. You could probably use the KitchenAid if you have that. I've had this for a long time. I started doing bread like probably 20 something years ago, so I've had this for a long time. Also my grinder, but you can find those online. They're not expensive. They're pretty expensive, but if you're going to make bread often, then it really helps to have the right equipment. You can hand knead your bread if you need to, but it's just a lot of work. So the things that you're going to need to make this bread is you're going to need fresh ground flour. Now you can go to a health food store and you can buy that probably already ground up. And if I don't know. If you can find somebody that can grind it for you that has a grinder, you can buy the wheat that hasn't been ground, and that would be your best option to use whole kernels and ground so that you have all the nutrients that God placed in there for you. So you're going to also, so I'm doubling my recipe, but I'm going to give you the recipe for a single recipe, okay? So 3 cups of hot water. You're going to need olive oil, so a 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. You're going to need yeast. So you buy the little packages of yeast, and I've already got mine measured up. So it takes 5.5 teaspoons of yeast, and then you can add 2.5 teaspoons of gluten and 2 tablespoons of lecithin, and then you're going to need 3 to 10 cups of flour. So I'm just put it in there, and I can kind of tell by the consistency of the dough how much more I need to add. And also you need 3 teaspoons of salt. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn my mixer up here. I'm going to turn it on. We're going to start it off on low. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our honey and our oil. I'm going to put my yeast in there first. No, actually, no. I'm going to do the honey. Sorry. Let's do the honey right now. So this is fresh honey that my sister, she sends it to me, but it's out of Tennessee, and it's not hasn't been pasteurized. It's everything God placed in there for you. So this is honey, and it's King Mountain Treasures. If you want to comment below if you're interested in buying some from her, I can send you the link to her Etsy store. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add some flour. So this has let me see if I can turn it up. Where's this at? It has like a kneader and a separator on this particular type of blender. This is made by Electrolux. It's a pretty heavy duty Like I said, I'm doubling the recipe. So I'm going to speed it up. And also I'm going to move this in. You can adjust this arm. So it depends on, if we don't adjust it, the flour and the dough will start squishing up out of the side. So now I'm going to start adding my water in here. So you put your hot water in. And then you put your yeast, because your yeast has to have something warm in order to activate the yeast. Because I keep mine in the freezer so that it keeps for a long time. You can keep it pretty much for years and years and years. So I'm going to add some more flour. And you can hear the motor on this thing whining. Grind some more flour, it looks like. Just a little nugget too, and I just thought about it as I was pouring my honey in. There's a reason that they use little wooden dowels for their honey in honey pots. Because if you use a metal spoon and put it down in your honey, it actually will kill all the natural enzymes in there. So you want to use a wooden spoon or the little wooden dowel that comes in a honey pot. So there is a reason for that, as I was just putting mine in the metal thing there. So not recommended. So I'm going to go ahead and grind some more flour. It's going to need some more. Let's see if I can show you some consistency of this right here. It's too thin. Okay? So it's going to be a lot thicker. So let me go ahead and grind some. I'll get right back. Okay, so I've ground some more flour. I've added some more to my mixer. Let's see if I can turn it around so you can see better. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep adding the flour until it starts pulling away from the sides of the bowl. So I'm adding some more. I'm going to try to show you down in my mixer here in just a minute. I think that we're good. Let me show you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that on and leave it. You want it to knead for 10 minutes. So I'm going to speed it up. I'll leave it to knead for 10 minutes and then I'll get back with you. Okay, so now I got my dough already made in my mixer here. Get that off. You'll see here. And I've already oiled my bowl. I have a large stainless bowl that I've greased with olive oil. Then I'm going to dump all my dough into the bowl. Hopefully. Nice and fluffy. Still a little bit. I think I should have added a little more flour because it is sticky, very sticky. So I used the hard white wheat, which is like a lighter flavor than, say, the hard red wheat. So oftentimes I will mix half hard white wheat and hard red wheat together and do a half and half. The red wheat has more like of a nuttier, flavorful. Now, if you're going to make pastries, then use the soft white wheat for that. So right now we're using a hard white wheat for this. Okay. So we're going to put that over there in our sink to wash. And so here we go. We have our dough bowl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with a linen and I'm going to sit it on top of my stove because I've already got heating up, and I'm going to let this rise double. So probably take about 45 minutes, depending. It's kind of cool here in my kitchen, so that's why I'm going to sit it on top of the stove so that the heat will help it to rise faster. So we'll get right back with you. Okay, so we have our dough now, and it's risen double size, and I've already put olive oil on my work surface here. Now we're dumping all of our dough out. And then we're going to let it rise again. It has to double again. Okay, so we've got to push back down. Okay, our pans are ready to put in the oven. The dough has doubled in size, so we're ready to stick it in the oven. It still will rise some more, so it's going to be good. Bread's out of the oven.